Popular Culture Resource Team, how can I help you? And back joining us in the studio for our Friday's Popular Culture Resource Team is Yujin's Yujin. Yujin, hello to you.
Hi guys, happy Friday.
Yujin.
Yay.
The first month of 2026 is almost over.
Right.
I don't remember what your New Year's resolution was, but how was your year so far? Has it been good?
Not yet, because having driver license was my new resolution, but
That's
I didn't
right.
have enough time.
But it's not really good to... I got my driver's license during the winter time.
Oh.
It's not good.
It's not good,
No,
right?
because sometimes it snows and like the
it's
roads could
super
be frozen.
cold,
Yeah, it could be
right.
cold. So do it later on.
Maybe on spring?
Spring is okay.
Spring is okay, right?
usually when a lot of people go out and do this.
I'm going to do that.
But you also been very busy lately. That's good.
Kind of, yeah, it's good for me.
So modest. So much kind of. She's so busy right now. But anyways, we are in our last episode.
Right.
Of Dream Life of Mr. Kim, right? This is incredible. Again, what an incredible drama this is. We're going to be covering the final ends here. We covered so many different aspects of Korean culture through this drama, right?
We really have. So last week, we talked about real estate scams, panic disorder, depression, and side jobs like Teddy Giza. But beyond that, we also touched on things like coffee culture, lunch culture, company dinners, and early 2000s internet culture and business trip customs in Korea. It feels like this drama shows us a various aspects of Korean society.
No, it really does. And again, being that our show is called The Culture Inc. and we were
Culture Inc.
sort of formed as a company, kind of
Right.
speaking, it was perfect to cover this very drama. So let's move
drama.
on to this week's discussions, right? So
Okay.
what's our first topic?
Okay, so before that, can
Yes.
I ask you a question?
Yes.
So, what do you think an apartment means to Koreans?
Oh my goodness.
This
Everything.
is a big question.
Everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Including
it means,
what?
It means everything because that is your ultimate goal, right?
Right.
It is a dream of everyone to own their own home
Especially in Seoul.
in Seoul. And then, if you can't own a home in Seoul, you say, I want to own any home. And that's exactly what I did. I couldn't afford to buy a house in Seoul. And so I went to an even better city in Anyang and bought a house there.
That's a great choice.
Yeah.
But I think this question contains almost everything about Korean society.
Yeah.
So Mr. Kim's family is drowning in debt after falling victim to a real estate scam, right?
Yep.
So his wife makes a very practical suggestion. She says, let's sell our house and pay off the loans first. But they don't have many options, and financially, it's the most reasonable choice. But
Yeah.
Mr. Kim strongly opposes it. So the question becomes, why? So in Korea, especially, if you own a house, an apartment in Seoul, it's like having a trophy. It's more than just a home. It represents your social status and whether you have made it in life.
I mean, if you look at the actual title of the drama, the Korean title, it's Kim Bujang, his title, and also the fact that he owns a home in Seoul, right? And so that's
Right.
kind of the dream of everybody. But when you're telling them, because I mean, again, he's drowning in debt right now.
In debt.
And they have more debt with the mortgages. What are you going to do? At least if they sell the house, they're going to profit off of it. They're going to make money off of it. And so they have to do it. It's so hard to give that up.
Right. So for Mr. Kim, refusing to sell the apartment isn't really about money. That apartment is the last proof of his achievement.
Yeah.
So when his job is gone and his assets are slipping away, the house becomes his only pride.
Yeah.
So selling it feels like giving them up completely. And honestly, this part really hurts to watch because, like we talked about last week, these men cannot say they're sick,
No.
cannot admit they're struggling,
No.
and they cannot let go of the house. It's heartbreaking. Are you crying?
No, the funny thing is also, though, like if you watch the drama, they talk about, they go back to when they first buy the house.
Oh,
And
so happy.
he was against buying it
right.
initially.
Right.
He was like, this is a bubble, and the real estate bubble is gonna burst, and everything, it's gonna go down. We should
Everything
wait.
changed.
And the wife basically goes, no.
You have to buy this.
We have to buy this right now. But now that becomes his pride, and he remembers it as if it was his idea that he was going to buy it. But they do profit off of the drama. But what's ironic, though, right, is that most people who do own homes in Seoul, apartments,
Right.
they're actually carrying huge amounts of debt.
That's true. That's a reality. So there's even a joke in Korea, like the front door and the balcony are mine,
Yeah.
but the living room and bedroom belong to the bank. So in reality, some couples end up living separately because they cannot afford their interest payments. In other cases, financial stress over loans causes serious marital conflict. So you can see plenty of families that fall apart because of housing. So in those situations, the home becomes the source of anxiety.
No, it really does. If I remember like any conflicts that I had with my wife, it was always over like financial stuff. And if you remember after COVID, the interest rates were skyrocketing. Right. And so when we bought our house, it was at a low interest, but it wasn't fixed interest. In Korea, like it's hard to get fixed interest. So it started climbing up and it went up to like something like over 5%. And that's a lot.
Right.
And so 5%. And then we didn't even own a sole apartment and we were still struggling. But the good thing is for us, the government had this plan where if you have two children, a newborn or something like that, we get a very low interest loan. And so we refinanced our mortgage and now we have a very, very low mortgage going on. But it does also remind us of the final episode when it's revealed again, Mr. Do, right, who's Mr. Kim's rival, doesn't actually own the luxury apartment in Gangnam. Remember when he had to drive in? They're like, he looked at the price and he was like,
wait, is it living here? Like,
how?
How come?
And he's basically, I lost, but it was under his in-laws' names.
Yeah, that's when Mr. Kim smiles for the first time in a long while. It's like, oh, so he didn't get here entirely on his own either. And another important point, apartments in Korea are incredibly easy to compare. It's like a kind of like social scoreboard.
Yeah.
So in Korea, an apartment is like a constant reference point for comparison.
There's like the major apartment complexes, right? Like the R's, and then the X's, the L's.
Oh, right, L.
All right. Then so like depending on where you live, like it's different. And then there's like also like the fancy high-end luxury apartments.
Right.
And it goes up even more. But Yujin, I want to ask you though, like, are you like at the age where you start thinking, man, one day I want to own my own home in Seoul too?
Of course, but
Yeah?
I'm thinking not in Seoul because it's too complicated.
Anyang,
It's too crowded. Anyang is
Anyang,
great.
Anyang.
It's a good job.
Anyang's
Good-
great.
Good choice.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
It's good for children,
I will consider it.
education. Promote Anyang, ladies and gentlemen. It's too expensive in Seoul. No, it's funny what you said, like how people say, yeah, I only own the balcony and the front door. Or like some people, like what they do is they say like in a humble way, they go, oh, you bought a home. And they go, yeah, but it's basically owned by the bank, right? Because you get all the
true.
mortgages and stuff like that. But it is, given how insanely expensive and difficult it is to buy a home in Seoul, like, why don't people just move to other regions like
that's
I
a good
did?
question. So I think it's not simply because people like Seoul, but because good jobs, education, or cultural infrastructure, like in Korea, all of that is heavily concentrated in Seoul.
Yeah.
So leaving Seoul can feel like slowly stepping out of that network. So psychologically, it doesn't feel like just moving to other regions. It feels like falling out. And if you have children, the pressure is even stronger. Like college entrance exam, like 수능, is all about getting into a university in Seoul. So, and the so-called in-Seoul universities are the
geez.
goal for almost everyone. So even if it's financially painful, like parents have this huge pressure to stay in Seoul for your kids' education and future. And that's why people push themselves to buy homes in Seoul anyway. So when you put it all together, a Seoul apartment is treated like an opportunity.
Do you know that one apartment in Gangnam where it's like super, super old?
Oh,
The
okay.
really old apartment.
Near the Hangang River?
Is it near the Han River? I don't think it's not. It's the one in Gangnam.
Okay.
It's like 50 years old almost. And they still haven't done
Super
reconstruction.
expensive. Oh.
But it's super expensive.
Super expensive.
And there's no openings. And the reason for that is the people who own the apartments, they actually don't live there. They rent it out to people who want to live in the Gangnam district. And so they're living in these like very old apartments, like really, really old, but it's in Gangnam.
But it's in Gangnam.
Would you do that? Live in a really, really old apartment?
Honestly, I don't like Gangnam that much.
Okay. Because you're not a parent yet.
Maybe I don't have any children.
If you have a children and
I
you had
didn't
the
get married,
choice,
though.
right? I mean, exactly. That's why, like, if you go to Mokdong, right? Have you seen those Mokdong apartments?
That's a good place for education.
It is good for education because it has one of the biggest academy districts. And so, like, if you look at the apartments in Mokdong, they're very old apartments, but people still want to live there because they're close to a lot of the academies where it's famous for, you know, getting all these Seoul sunung and all that stuff. And it's good for education.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
How can I afford those apartment prices?
You know what the joke is? You know what the joke is? You win the lottery, Yujin.
Okay.
Do you go back to work on Monday?
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Here in Korea, yes, you do. Yes, you do in Korea because you buy one apartment and you're done.
Nothing left.
There's nothing left after you buy one apartment. You buy like a pretty decent apartment. That's about it, right? So everyone, this is exactly what it is right now. But unfortunately, Mr. Kim and his family are forced to sell this, which now he's losing everything. But they seem happier.
They seem happier.
Right?
That's the point of this drama, I think.
And so that's, I think sometimes you need to let go of all that stuff and let go of the idea that you must have a home in Seoul in order for you to be truly happy. All right, guys, we're going to continue to talk about all these hidden cultural elements within this drama. But of course, we talked about apartments. We have to listen to the song. This is Rosé featuring Bruno Mars with Apa트. And we're back in the studio for Popular Culture Research Team with Yujin. And we're talking about the dream life of Mr. Kim and all the, and then we're at the tail end. Mr. Kim is now, he's lost everything. He's trying to do everything he can. But what's interesting is at the beginning of the drama, you remember like his brother, the older brother goes,
smarter than Mr. Kim, like.
You're happy with becoming the vice president
of the class? Oh,
and he seemed like such a bad brother.
Right.
Turns out he's not so bad. He ends up working at his brother's. It's a car fix. It's a car center.
Car center.
It's a car center, but he makes him do car wash.
Car wash is like a service.
As a service, right? Let's talk about this.
Okay, so what's interesting is that surprisingly, he actually feels a sense of satisfaction while working at a car wash center. So Mr. Kim starts to think, oh, I'm actually being useful to someone. I think this matters because in Korean society, the value of work has been like measured by things like performance, salary, and job titles. And Mr. Kim himself is a perfect example of that. But this scene shows that the meaning of work isn't about how much money it makes, but about who it helps and how. But still, at the same time, though, Mr. Kim cannot fully escape his sense of shame because one day Mr. Do shows up at the car wash center purposely. And Mr. Kim cannot bring himself to confidently wash his car because, like, after all, not long ago he was Mr. Do's senior and Mr. Do's someone who competed with at work.
Yeah, I mean Mr. Do went there purposely to shame him.
Right.
Basically going, look where I am right now, and he's coming in driving his Benz, and here he is all bearded up.
He's
got
guy.
He's such a nasty guy, right? Because he comes off as like a really nice guy, but he's not.
Always pretends he's a good guy.
Right.
Always.
But then again, his brother comes out and says, oh, you have the reservation that you have to do, and purposely sends him off and then saves face for him. And so this is saving face right now. But it does make my heart feel very heavy.
True.
Because again, you're talking about someone who was a pujang, team leader, not too long ago, and then the other who's, by the way, he's become a team leader, and the other has become someone who's left the company, right?
Yeah, and it's got even more complicated because Mr. Kim ends up returning to the company he used to work for, not as an employee, but as someone washing their corporate cars. So there's always the chance he might run into former coworkers. That's why he starts wearing a mask while working.
Yeah.
And this is where the social context matters. So in Korea, jobs that involve physical labor, like car washing, are still often seen differently. Even without anyone saying it out loud, there's a quiet sense of hierarchy in how people view different kinds of work. That's why this moment feels so uncomfortable for him.
You know what the crazy thing is, and you make a very good point here, and this is something that needs to change. Certain occupations, they think it's a lowly job, right? But I know, because what he does is what's called him and his friend, who's also a former worker of ACT, right? He was the one that almost tried to kill
Mr.
himself.
Ha?
Right. So they're a team. And they're only a team because they need to go in as a team. And they get the bid and they end up washing it. But just the idea that if you are a car washing person, then you're a lowly person. That's what they're ashamed of. But
Right.
the fact of the matter is, a lot of the people who do those car washes, they make more money
Oh, that's true.
than most of the people that work in that company. Right? So that's just wild right now. But for him, he's still used to that like corporate job. And because he just quit, he still has that kind of mindset.
Right.
But he loses that later on.
Right.
He doesn't care. And Mr. Ha doesn't care neither. And so even if no one says anything directly, he's still aware of how people might see him though.
He is. So, and there's a saying in Korea, like, there is no hierarchy among jobs. Of course, that's true in principle. No one would disagree with that. But this episode asks this question: how well are we actually living by that idea? Because in Korea, there's still a strong tendency to judge people through their jobs.
Eugene, what do you call yourself?
Me, myself?
Yeah. So like, you know how we're freelancers. All right. And so there's certain titles that like you MC events, you do broadcasting, you do a lot of different things. Like, is there a title that you use? You don't have to be ashamed.
For real?
Yeah, for real.
A pretty girl who has a lot of abilities to do like 3 jobs.
That's your title? That's not your title. Usually that's not your
It's just a
title.
joke. So I just ask you for real.
Usually that's not your title.
I know.
You just described yourself. That's not your title.
I have a lot of titles. Like, it's like freelancer, right?
But Korea, because they're so like fixed on title, don't you use the word announcer?
No, I'm not. Like interpreter. I use interpreter.
You use interpreter? But you also MC and you do broadcasting too.
Based on situations.
Right.
When I am emceeing the event, I am introducing myself as an announcer.
Yeah.
And when I go to a place where interpretation service is needed, I become an interpreter.
That's because you are an interpreter, right? So like you have 2 different titles, right? You use the title as an announcer, which is weird to like an English-speaking country.
Announcer?
Announcer.
Announcer.
But here in Korea, how high is that title, announcer? It's very high.
Is it?
Oh yeah, I would say so. It's a
Okay.
very highly sought out job.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Have you not noticed? Okay, so this is kind of a pet peeve.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who overuse the term announcer.
Okay.
They use that for every
So
situation.
we have to define the title like announcer here.
Right.
Am I? So I always think, am I an announcer?
You do broadcasting,
Okay.
right? And so as a person who do broadcasting, technically you are, but the actual terminology is a person who hosts shows.
Right.
Or like anchors or something like that. So like I would fall into the announcer category. So you would be like 방송인, right?
I rather use that.
Right. But there is a difference between 방송인 and announcer. Do you hear the difference?
Difference.
Yeah. One
Maybe
sounds
the broader
more posh.
concept is 방송인.
Yeah.
And announcer falls into that category.
But if you were to be like picking somebody, right, like a job situation,
Okay.
which sounds more posh? Which sounds more like, high class? Announcer or 방송인?
Announcer.
See, that's the thing.
That's like Korean thing, right?
That's a Korean thing. It's all about the title. And I hate myself for calling myself an announcer sometimes. But it is what it is.
But I always like think about, can I use my name as an announcer, like a job title, when I have to introduce myself, when I'm doing like emceeing on the event?
Oh, you have to.
Really? Yeah.
Don't you go like, hello everyone, my name is Yujin, and I'm the announcer Yujin.
So I rather use the host of this event,
Host of the event.
not the announcer.
But you have a job title now.
Right, like 사회자 or
사회자
네, 오늘 사회를 맡은
오유진 아나운서입니다.
아나운서
No?
오유진입니다.
Right, 아나운서
Right.
오유진입니다, right?
That's true.
So I mean, it's very important in the Korean society what title you have.
Title is very important.
Because I used to use 방송인,
Ah,
and then my client was like, "Can you not use 방송인?" I was like, "Why?"
Why?
I was like, "Why? I am
Why?
proud to be a broadcaster." But she said, in certain situations, announcer sounds more
professional.
professional and higher. I was like, it's the same thing. But I think that's what it is right now. Like you see like titles and stuff like that. And, the status, reputation, how your job looks from the outside. All those things really matter here in this drama too.
That's right. Yeah. I completely agree. So some jobs are still described as physical work or hard labor and without meaning to, but those words create like invisible hierarchies.
Yeah.
And if you think back, there are a lot of things we heard growing up that really should have been said more carefully. Things like, what does your father do?
What does your father do?
If you don't study, you'll end up like that man. Those are not harmless comments. So they can be deeply hurting and bothering.
Mr. Kim doesn't seem completely free from those standards either. Right?
You're right. On the surface, he looks like he's accepting his new life, but inside he keeps asking himself, like, is it really okay for someone who used to be a department head or 부장 of a big company to do this kind of work? Then something changes, and that change comes when he looks at Mr. Beck. So Mr. Beck holds the title Mr. Kim once dreamed of, like executive position. So from the outside, he still looks successful, but in reality, he's under extreme stress with no real space to breathe in his life. And that's when Mr. Kim realizes something for the first time. Like, having a title doesn't automatically make life more dignified or happier.
No, with big titles also come big responsibility. And he does find Mr. Beck getting into a panic attack. And then he opens the door and tells the driver, you got to go to the hospital, you got to go to the hospital. And it doesn't really look pretty. He always wanted that job. But again, with that title comes all these different burdens and responsibilities and pressure and things like that. And I think that was a very metaphoric scene. Him seeing from the outside of the car as he's washing, cleaning his car, right? So again, in a way, this isn't really a story about success or failure.
Exactly. It's not about whether Mr. Kim succeeds or fails. It's about redefining the standards of himself, the standards he's been living by. So not performance, not status, not what's written on a business card, but asking instead, what kind of person do I want to be? That's why so many people connect with these scenes. When I think about it more, like Mr. Kim could reach this realization because he made an incredibly brave choice.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a department head at a major company and he willingly walks away from all that to wash cars for the same company. That's not a choice just anyone can make. Honestly, I don't think I could have done it myself. How about you?
As a person who has family, because again, he has a family, right? I mean, his son is older and stuff like that. But I think because my kids are young, and if this is the only thing I can do and I have to wash my producer's car and stuff like that, I might do it.
But he may have another option, like not here, not in the same company.
But if it pays well, because it did pay well, right, was what it is. And so, I mean, and he has debt. And so, like, that's the other thing. Like, what can you do? You have to sacrifice all that. So I think that's through that he starts finding out more about himself. He starts letting go.
He's becoming realistic.
Yeah, and the more he lets go, the happier he gets. Guys, we are just about one section away from completing this very drama here, but we're going to take another short song break. This is Yudabin Band with Isn't That Good? 좋지 아니한가? We're back in the studio talking about the dream life of Mr. Kim. We are really getting into the tail end now. Mr. Kim has now let go everything, and I feel him. I feel him.
You are now Mr. Kim.
I have. I have done work too before I got to where I am right now, and it just kind of reminded me of that a little bit. But we're at the final chapter of this drama.
Yes.
What do you want to focus on the very end?
Okay, this time, again, I wanted to ask a much more fundamental question.
Yes.
What does it really mean to be a breadwinner in Korea? You are a breadwinner.
I am the breadwinner. It means a lot. It's a lot of pressure.
I can feel that.
Do you remember how, like, we were talking about how Mr. Kim got panic attack? Did I tell you I got panic attack too?
Really?
Yeah. This was 7 years ago. About 7 years ago, right before my son was born. The idea that, now I'm going to be a dad, but I'm a freelancer, and I didn't have as many jobs as I did back then. And so panic started setting in. Like, I'm the breadwinner, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to raise this kid, bring about, enough money, stable job. And I actually suffered panic attack. And then when my wife was pregnant with my daughter, depression settled in. And so I had to get treatment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really got treatment. I took medicine for about a few months. I'm okay now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what a breadwinner is.
Oh, it's all about pressure, stress.
But you see a breadwinner in your dad?
Okay.
Like do you see like the kind of responsibility that he took on? Or?
I didn't feel pressure that much from my dad because many dads always try to hide their feelings, right? So I cannot feel that kind of stress from him.
Oh, he tried to tie that. Because you try not to show that to your children.
Children, right?
Yeah. Kids don't know. Yeah, so it's everything. It's pressure, it's responsibility, it's everything.
Right. So I think that question is the core of this entire story. So a lot of men say this after retirement, like, I suddenly feel invisible to society. So the name people used to call them by, their job title, all of that disappears overnight. No more calls, no more meetings, no more decisions to make. And that confusion doesn't just go away when they come home. In many cases, it actually becomes clearer inside the family. Inside of you. You've been there?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. But it's a little bit different because I didn't, work in a company.
It's
right?
kind of different.
I didn't have like that clear-cut title, But why do you think that confusion feels even bigger at home, though?
Because a family is not just built on hierarchy. It's built on relationships, which means that it requires emotional communication.
Yeah.
But imagine someone who spent their entire life communicating through authority.
Yeah.
They're not used to housework. They don't know what kind of help is needed or how to offer it. They talk less, and the distance in the relationship grows. In some cases, this leads to couples drifting apart after retirement, what people in Korea call graduated divorce.
When they're like in their 50s,
60s, like
when
Mr. Kim and his wife.
Right. Now, fortunately, though, despite all the craziness that went on, him going behind their back and buying this, getting scammed of that real estate scam, their relationship doesn't go that
they
bad.
respect each other.
Right. So this drama paints a pretty bleak picture of breadwinners,
No.
right?
So,
in the situation?
But the drama also shows the possibility of change.
Yes.
So Mr. Kim starts cooking, helping around the house, and making an effort to really talk with his wife and son. And in real life, we are seeing more and more retired men do the same, like learning new skills at home, and sometimes for the first time learning how to reconnect with their families. And in Korea, that kind of change is especially meaningful because for so long, being a breadwinner meant enduring quietly, proving love through responsibility rather than words.
It's a weird thing, I think, which is why my wife was telling me that after her father, so my father-in-law retired and he has time, he's trying to reconnect with her and her brother, my brother-in-law, and she's like, it's so weird because he's never done that.
Yeah,
He did nothing, no chores, did not play with us,
chores.
didn't take us anywhere. And now he's trying to be nice and connect. And she's like, it's good, but it's weird.
It's weird.
Right? And so I think for the family here, it's like it takes time for them to get used to it.
Right.
But that's the cycle that a lot of Koreans go through. It's a very good direction. And so like through Mr. Kim's life, we're reminded of who Korean breadwinners traditionally were, right?
Before.
And we get to see how that role is slowly shifting towards real communication within family.
Exactly. So that generation didn't learn how to express love with words.
Nope.
They learned love through like responsibility and proved their love by enduring at work, like by holding the family together no matter what. So we shouldn't say they didn't love their families just because they are not good at expressing it. They are a generation that learned love as a function, and that's something we need to understand here.
I think this is a very good point because, again, in Mr. Kim's generation, and again for like my dad's generation, my father-in-law's generation, their show of love is them working, proper jobs, bringing the money, having a home. That's showing love. But for the family members, it's not enough.
It's not enough. Words, expressions, more important.
Yeah. And so you need that. And I think now the society has shifted where you see more, dads playing with their kids, spending time with their kids. And you have to make money. That's why it's harder now. That's why it's harder now,
That's the true
Yujin.
meaning of the breadwinners in Korea.
The definition of breadwinner changed. It's even harder now, Yujin. You got to do all of that, plus you got to raise the kids and do all that crazy stuff. It's been a long 5 weeks,
right.
Eugene. Thanks to this drama, we've had some really meaningful conversation. What do you think this drama is ultimately trying to say?
Okay, so I felt many things, but the thing is that in Korean society and in this drama, what often matters isn't how far you've come or what you have built, but where you stand compared to others. Like, is it Gangnam or not? Did you become an executive or not? Are you recognized or are you overlooked? So the moment you step into that comparison frame, Mr. Kim becomes someone who didn't make it at all. But is he incompetent? Not at all. He was sincere. He worked hard. He did everything for his family. And honestly, when he begins to feel pride and satisfied with his new job, I think his life looks more successful to me.
So on the outside, it seems like he was doing all that for his success, but it actually, in actuality, he was doing that for the happiness of his family.
Right.
It was just that it was directed wrong.
Right.
And I think after he lost everything, he understood how to properly show love to the family. Yujin, does this, I guess, change the way that you see men? Like, what kind of men I'm going to meet? What kind of guy I'm going to marry from now on? Are you going to look for a Mr. Kim or someone completely opposite of Mr. Kim?
Opposite. Person who can love his family sincerely.
But it's okay if they don't bring in as much money. Just love.
I'll bring that.
Oh, that's the changing society.
Right.
That is the changing society, and the guys are gonna be able to say, okay, that's okay, because Mr. Kim said, no, you can't do that. Eugene, this was fun stuff. I really enjoyed this drama.
Goodbye, Mr. Kim.
Goodbye, Mr. Kim. You guys can check out the webtoons, and also there's a novel available on this as well. Eugene, thank you so much for a full, thorough coverage on this very drama. Have a safe rest of your weekend. We'll see you again next week with a new drama.
New drama, yeah. Thank you. See you next Friday. Bye.